Hey everyone, today I'm going to walk you through OUAC or UAC. Sometimes people call it OUAC. Bunch of different names. It has changed quite a bit this year, and so it's helpful for me to walk through some of the changes and what to expect. Biggest change is you don't have to rely on your guidance counselors from giving you a PIN in order to access the OUAC portal anymore. In previous years, Ontario high school students had to wait until sometimes as late as November to access OUAC. Now you can access it readily on your own time by creating an account. Go to ouac.on.ca and click create an account and follow the instructions to create an account and start applying to universities as of right now. There's no need to wait to apply to universities. If you know your list already, then that's great. You can start applying now, and I believe you can also add other universities to your list later, anytime before the deadline, which I believe is January 15th, 2024. What is OUAC? So it's an application center rather than other provinces like Alberta or Quebec, where you apply to universities directly on their website. In Ontario, because there's so many universities, there's a central application portal, OUAC, where you submit your applications. They go to all the respective universities. And then if there are any supplementary application requirements, then you'll get information, sign-in information for those individual universities to complete their mandatory supplementary applications. For example, if I'm applying to Waterloo, we all know that Waterloo requires a supplementary application for almost all of their programs. I apply to Waterloo on OUAC, and then I will wait probably anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks after the application has been submitted for me to receive details to log into Waterloo's portal and start completing my supplementary application and video interview. The application dates are different for OUAC and for individual programs. So we share these program deadlines as well as early consideration deadlines. Please track those diligently with your coach, because if you need to apply to OUAC in order to get access to the individual university program portals. So make sure to just apply to OUAC as quickly as possible. I'm going to walk through what I've been doing here, creating an account myself. This is just the welcome page, putting in some personal details. Just giving my name is Johnny the Kid. Putting in some citizenship. There is a diversity census. Look at the drop downs and see if you qualify for any of them. And if you prefer not to answer, you can just simply prefer not to answer and move on. Put in your address details, your phone number. I'm going to go through this with you live. Your high school information. Most of you haven't attended a post-secondary institution before. With high school, one of the questions is to date. What do I put in there? Just put when you're going to be graduating, probably 2024 June. Highest level achieved, it's probably going to be grade 11 for most of you, unless you're doing a victory lap. And then the diploma, if you're an Ontario student, it would be Ontario Secondary School. So I'm doing this as an Ontario student. If you are applying to Ontario universities from another country, then you might see some differences in the application. All right, tell us more. Okay, what is this? So will you achieve by the end of the current school year? Yes. Okay, so this is an actual number that's going to be required, a student number. Now, this number will allow your grades to be submitted to the right OUAC portal. So you got to include your OEN so that your grades, when they're transmitted, will appear on this OUAC portal. If you are applying from another province or outside of Canada, it's going to ask you, have you contracted the services of an academic agent? You will know if you're working with an academic agent. They'll typically work with you actually to submit via their own portal to apply to these universities. And usually that's for international students. So you can click no if otherwise. Now, it's better to complete this section than not complete it, but this is where it gets confusing because you might think that this is the supplementary application. It's not. This is just a section that OUAC provides for whatever reason. I think it might be for scholarship eligibility for schools that don't require supplementary applications, but still base specific scholarships on activities and employment. So it's better to add this than not add it. So it's a activity description, start date, end date, and as well as employment. I'm just going to skip this section and then go into the choices. So you can look up your specific university programs that you're going to apply to. And so sometimes it asks subject of major, in which case this can be changed usually after during your first year. Western can be a little bit tricky because there's multiple different campuses. You'll most likely want to apply to either the main campus or Huron. So it didn't apply in previous years or haven't attended the university prior. This is if you're applying to Ivy AEO, so Ivy HBA AEO, you can apply to any undergraduate program that's selected here. This is the Huron University, as well as the King's University College. Note that this is a small Catholic liberal arts campus, so it's quite separate from the main campus here. Let's say most of you who are applying to the business program or other medical programs will probably be doing medical science or BMOS, or I think it's now called DAN, actually, Management and Organizational Studies. Expected date of enrollment, so this will be fall. You can put a major of interest, but it's not, this can be changed typically. Year level, you would be probably a first year unless you are in an AP program. And supplementary application required for Ivy Advanced Entrant Opportunity, that's AEO. So you can do this for any program, any undergraduate program at Western. It has the AEO option for Ivy. And then you'll later on get requested to submit your supplementary application from Ivy. There are some nuances also with applying to UofT, so I'm just going to go through those specifically. I'm going to apply to Rotman Commerce. Let's find Rotman. It's down here. It's on the St. George campus. Because it's on the St. George campus, it's going to ask you your college membership. College, kind of confusing name, but it's essentially what residency you're going to be affiliated with. Some of these colleges will also require another supplementary application of essays. I can't remember which ones, but you can easily look at that online. Note, U of T only allows you to apply to one program within their arts and science. So if you're applying to computer science and engineering, unfortunately, you're only able to apply to one of those choices. So here are all my programs. You can change the ranks here. They don't really make it that easy for you. 4. You can delete them, edit the information here, and then save. Remember, the more programs that you apply to, the higher the fee it's going to be. They charge $50 to $150 depending on the program for supplementary applications, and they also charge on a per program basis for OUAC to apply to each program as well. So with programs that have a supplementary application, you're getting hit both from OUAC and from the actual program itself for the supplementary application fee. If you're outside of Ontario, then this is where you can you can get the details on how to add your transcript information. Within Ontario, that is going to be done automatically for most schools through your OEN. Confirm that with your guidance counselor. And there are going to be some situations where you're taking an additional course from a private school. Just talk to your guidance counselor from your main, like an additional sort of subsequent or supplementary course from, let's say, a virtual high school or something like that. Then you can talk to your guidance counselor from your primary high school. Make sure to get that grade on your main transcript, or work with the school itself to submit your grade to OUAC as well. Okay, let's continue. So they make you open up each section just to get that green check mark on each section. Then you can click continue. And then you simply click the verification and you end up paying. So that's how it works. I'm going to take some additional questions now on OUAC. All right, so you can largely ignore the dates. They're a little bit old, but this will give you just a sense of how OUAC works. So you're going to be submitting your applications on OUAC October, November, December, and then January 15th, I believe, is the deadline this year. Do it way before that. 1 to 2 weeks afterwards, you're going to hear from the university programs giving you access to the supplementary application. In October is going to be that first transmission of grade 11 and 12 marks. Current courses that you're enrolled in the first semester, the projected courses for the second semester, as well as any grade 11 marks. And that's also going to be grade 12 midterms or any marks that they have if you're on a non-semester. They're going to do these transmissions also in January and then also in March. you need to have the cutoff during these transmissions. So they're going to assess your grades at each of these transmissions as your actual grades. If they don't have enough grades, they're going to look towards your grade 11 marks often. There will be early rejections only if you have much lower marks than what the requirements are, particularly on the prerequisites. And I think that's mostly the main bit for that is these transmissions happen throughout the year. Internationally, you're going to have to send in your unofficial transcripts and then your official transcript at the end if you get an offer based on your unofficial transcripts. Do they care about me taking courses at another school, a summer school, et cetera? Yes, some programs do. Typically, it's only Waterloo Engineering. And here's the answer here. So if a required course was done at summer school, we will look at the difference between the grade 11 and grade 12 results. So it'll look at your grade 11 English at the day school versus grade 12 English at summer school or some other school outside of your main school, and then it will adjust your grade. So that's just for Waterloo Engineering from what we know of. If a particular program is my second choice, will that impact my admissions chances? This is a screenshot from the old OUAC platform. Now, the answer is no. The only reason for these choices are for university reporting data. From what we know, they don't actually base admissions offers dependent on your rank. But that is to say, don't just throw in random ranks. Think thoughtfully with your coach on what universities that what university programs are actually your choices, and that will make your allocation of effort over the next several months or weeks more effective because you're allocating your effort on these supplementary applications according to the priority of where you want to actually get in. If you're applying to another program at the same university, some don't allow this, others do. For instance, Queen's. Often some people apply to Queen's Commerce and then Queen's Economics. Will it impact your candidacy? From what we understand, the answer is also no. So they'll evaluate each application separately. And let's say, they won't say, oh, this person's also applying to Queen's Economics. Let's just get them in for Queen's Economics and then reject them for Queen's Commerce. Doesn't work like that. Repeated and summer school courses bring inherent candidate risk. This is just for Waterloo specifically. So try to avoid them as much as possible for Waterloo. Is there such, do they look at grade 11 marks? Ignore the grades here. This is just for kind of illustrative purposes. They will look at your grade 11 marks for some programs, particularly for programs that release earlier offers. They will almost always look at your grade 11 prerequisite equivalent. So if you're not taking English, let's say in your first semester, they're going to look at your grade 11 English as the prerequisite mark to get a sense of what your average could be. Some will actually evaluate your grade 11 marks inclusive of your entire admissions portfolio and base that in your decision as well. And then the last question that usually we get is there such thing for applying for early admission? Yes, there's some early consideration deadlines for specific universities and programs. UBC does this. UofT also does this. I believe it's a recommended one for early consideration. There's also some deadlines for consideration for major scholarships. The earliest that I know of is November 15th. And I believe that is either at UBC or at UofT. So just, we have a document with all the deadlines. We're going to be incorporating deadlines into the platform. So just stay tuned for that. And I always say apply earlier rather than later. Particularly if your university profile, your extracurriculars, or work experience is ready to go and you're not further building that profile, then just simply apply. If you have any other OUAC questions, contact me, joel@youthfully.ca, and I'd be happy to answer them. This is something that a coach will probably not be as well informed of, as it's very sort of technical and tactical. My dad was a guidance counselor, so I just learned this stuff over the years, and I've just been working in OUAC for so long. But a coach will be more so focused on the supplementary application, the skills development, essay development, differentiation, selection of questions, nuances on the evaluation criteria between each program, structuring the essays, preparing for the video interviews. That's really where the benefit is, and this technical stuff really doesn't matter all that much for your admissions chances. Your grades do, but execution on OUAC won't, unless you miss the deadline. Won't really matter that much. Hopefully this was helpful. Thanks so much.